So under this topic, you should be knowing about child abuse, what is child neglect, which includes the dental neglect. Then there are certain uh, injuries which you should be knowing, the bite marks, then forensic odontology, the complete management of child abuse and dental neglect. So, child abuse is something which is an increasing social problems in the current scenario. So, many statistics has reported that around 82.8 percentage of death of children are either caused by one of the parent or parents. So, when it comes to theoretical part, certain definitions like child abuse, then battered baby, neglected child, dental neglect has to be known. That is, the definition of child abuse by Gill is given by like non-accidental physical injury, minimal or fatal, inflicted upon children by persons caring for them. Then another terminology is battered baby. Battered baby is nothing but the victim. That is a child who shows clinical or radiographic evidence of lesion. A neglected child is one who shows evidence of physical or mental health primarily due to failure on the part of the parent or caretaker to provide adequately for child's need. And dental neglect is the failure by a parent or guardian to seek treatment for visually untreated caries, oral infections, or oral pain, or failure of the parent or guardian to follow through with treatment once informed that the above conditions existed. That is, neglect is something but the parent or the guardian fails to seek treatment for the child who is under any medical condition or uh, dental conditions. So there are different types of child abuse and child neglect. That is, under types of child abuse, it includes several forms, that is physical abuse, educational abuse, emotional abuse, sexual abuse, failure to thrive, then international drugging or poisoning, then Munchausen syndrome by proxy. Among all these, physical abuse is found to be the most prevalent one, that is mostly seen one. And when you see, there are, that is, I don't know whether you people know what is failure to thrive. Failure to thrive is nothing but a malnourished or undernourished child. Like a 8-year-old child might look like a 5-year-old child. That is, they will not be either, won't be getting enough calories, or the other condition is they themselves won't be able to like utilize whatever they are eating. So they are general on general examination, the child will be very undernourished and malnourished. Then I'll be briefing about the Munchausen syndrome by proxy. Then about types of child neglect, it includes emotional neglect, then healthcare neglect including the dental neglect, and the physical neglect. Among these, emotional neglect is found to be the more prevalent one. So when we talk about child abuse, we should definitely know what are the predisposing factors, what are the reasons behind all these kind of actions. So there are like the literature has came up with three characteristics, that is three predisposing factors which comes under like parental characteristics. There are certain child characteristics and there are certain environmental characteristics. So under parental characteristics, conditions involved, like in case if there is any violence involved within the family or even poverty, then parental history of abuse, then low self-esteem parents has more chances of showing such kind of concerns, then less adequate maternal functioning. Then under child characteristics, there are certain, like some children will be very sensitive, then child temperament is one of the issue. Then in case if the family includes more than 4 children and all, one of the child will be very possessive and obsessive in nature. Then environmental characteristics include like in case if there's any problem regarding divorce, then unemployment, alcoholism is one of the major thing which causes severe child abuse. Then even increase in stress also causes this kind of action from the family side, which in turn lead to child abuse or neglect. So one of the important thing which we should be concerned is about recording the history. That is, there are certain points which you should be included, that is eyewitness history, unexplained injury, implausible history, alleged self-inflicted injury, delay in seeking medical care. So eyewitness injury is nothing but like there are mainly three types of eyewitnesses. Either the child will himself say that like my one of my parent has done so and so thing to me, or otherwise another parent, one parent will be accusing the other person saying that he is the one who has done all these actions to the child. Or another category is like the parent himself will admit, yes, this is done by me. So these are the three eyewitnesses. Then another category is an unexplained injury. That is, the parent or the guardian will give a vague explanation. That is, which is very not at all relatable explanation to whatever injury the child is having. Then an implausible history is nothing but a lie. In general, we call it as a lie. That is, which is not at all relatable. That is, the child will be having a very severe injury and the parent will be giving a vague explanation or something which is not relatable history. Alleged self-inflicted injury is nothing but which, for example, a crawling baby who is not at all crawling, very small baby, and the parent is telling that the child has inflicted the injury by themselves, which is not at all believable. And delay in seeking medical care is, I don't think we need an explanation for that. There is definitely a delay in whatever, if even if the child is under pain or any medical condition, the parent will show or they will be failed. There will be failure of these parents to seek treatment for such conditions. Then, while knowing about child abuse and neglect, you should definitely understand the characteristics or behavioral pattern which is shown among the abused or the in children or even the parents. So there are certain characteristics which is found in children, that is they will be unduly afraid or passive. Then even when we converse with children, they'll have a delay. There will be definite delay in speech. They'll be really scared. Then there will be evidence of repeated skin or other injuries. That is, different delayed injuries or different stages of fractures will be seen in children. Then child is either undernourished that and is given inappropriate food or drink. Then definitely there will be evidence of poor overall care, even dental and general health. Child is cranky, irritable, cries easily. Then when in children, some of the children who have been physically abused for a very long time, it is seen that they show a more aggressive character. And in parents, what we can see is they are mostly self-esteem, poor self-esteem parents, which has got violent temper or outburstment, and they will always criticize the children. That is overly critical behavior towards the child. They will definitely be embarrassed when discussing child's trauma, then avoidance of looking at or touching the child. They will definitely avoid such situation. Or when a medical professional asks about the explanation or history, they will try to avoid looking at the child or touching the child, and they will give a vague explanation. The next is, what are the common sites to be observed and examined while when you encounter such cases. One of the common features is the child will be having a frozen watchfulness. Frozen watchfulness is nothing but a staring. The child will be staring constantly. With whenever we are communicating with child will have a delayed speech. That means when you look at the child will zone out when we are having a proper communication. There will be lack of cleanliness, check for how the child is dressed, and even small stature with respect to age for evidence of malnutrition. That is nothing but a failure to thrive. Then you should also look whether the child is overdressed. Overdressed means they are trying to hide something underneath. Then on general examination, check for face, neck should be examined. Then periorbital ecchymosis, sclera hemorrhage, ptosis, deviated nasal septum, cigarette burn marks, hand slap marks, then bite marks. Among these, ptosis is nothing but it is just a drooping of the upper eyelid. That is normally associated with trauma, or even it is found in paralysis cases. Then under dental examination, we should definitely check for a thorough visual examination. And if required, definitely a radiographic investigation has to be done. Check for if there is any manipulation of the jaw, Do pulp vitality test if in case you see any suspected non-vital teeth. Percuss the teeth. Have a thorough intraoral and extraoral examination. One another thing which we can notice is when you make the child sit on a dental chair, while moving the chair in a supine position, we'll notice that if in case if the child complains of any pain or like pain while moving the chair, we should definitely suspect for a trauma. Other intraoral like dental examination, what are the other things which we can see are tearing of the labial and lingual frenum. This is oftenly seen in child children who are fed like forcefully, or it can also caused by any blunt instrument, that is blunt instrument injury. Then check for loosened, fracture or avulsed teeth. When you see an avulsed teeth, definitely see if there is any previously missing teeth. That indicates that there is a previous history of trauma which is related to this. Check for trauma to lips, trauma to tongue, and any other lacerations or injuries within the oral cavity. So after assessing all these, we should always check whether all these explanations or history, whatever the guardians or parents, whoever have given, is relatable or compatible with the injury which we see. So one must always determine whether the injury is compatible with the explanation. These are the common physical signs which we can see in an abused child, that is from head to toe, that is from contusion of nasal bed. There are certain things which is rarely seen due to fall in babies, that is a black eye, which is rarely seen from a fall injury. Then you can see contusion to lip or jaw, that is tip of the jaw. If there is any trauma, that is very unusual to occur during a fall. Then check for any multiple fingertip contusions, then grab marks, then belt marks, which is definitely caused due to the physical abuse, lash marks. There are different types of marks and injuries, and it has been characterized in a different way. So check for thorough examination has to be done in such situations. Other signs which we can see is they may withdraw from physical contacts with the adults. Little eye contact with the adults will be seen. Then check for in case mostly the dentist as a dentist we will be thoroughly checking the head and face, like head and neck injury. So check for that. Check for in case if there is any burn is there. Then rope burns from being tied. Burn injuries are very common, so you will have to see for burn injuries which are of different types. Then inappropriate response to pain. Either the child will be very aggressive or very inappropriate in responding to the pain. And one more thing which you have to see is child will always try to protect the abuser because they will be really scared for the like further consequences. So proper communication with the child and the parent is necessary. One of the type of child abuse is very common, that this is Munchausen syndrome by proxy. There are many movies associated and even reviews such cases. There are live people who have undergone such situation. This is a very strange combination of physical neglect, then medical neglect, and even psychological mistreatment. That is, this is nothing but inducing a illness to the child by one of the parent or the guardian. That is, there are very various forms, that is mild, moderate, and severe. Mild includes symptom fabrication. Sorry, Mild includes symptom fabrication, where claiming the child experienced symptoms such as apnea or ataxia, and moderate includes evidence tampering. These they will try to tamper the medical laboratory results and make the child and the professionals believe that the child is having so and so condition. And the severe form is symptom induction. They may even poison the child to induce the illness, that is, producing actual illness or inducing, including diarrhea, seizures, and sepsis. Next is something which is a very like socially disturbing condition, that is a sexual abuse. And according to National Center on Child Abuse and Neglect, they have defined as it is nothing but include contacts or interaction between a child and an adult when the child is being used for sexual stimulation of the perpetrator or another person. So there are effects seen on the victims, mostly seen emotional effects, then guilt, anxiety, preoccupation with genital areas. Then there will be definite functional disturbances like constipation, and this is like in turn in future there will be a definite consequences which includes drug dependence, alcohol dependence, major depression, and general anxiety disorder. So statistics currently say that 1 in 6 boys and 1 in 6 girls experience some form of sexual abuse daily. So next is the management of child abuse. So as a dentist, as a dental professional, we should always know what is child abuse, what is dental neglect, what is child neglect, what are the types, what are the signs and symptoms which include in such scenario, and when you encounter patient, what are the things you should be doing. Primarily we should know what are the intervention and prevention. There are different levels of intervention and prevention in management of child abuse. So we ourselves should know the limitations as a dentist to how to manage such situation. It should always include an interdisciplinary management, which includes a medical professional, then even a medical legal expert. Legal consideration has to be done. Then even mental health professional, that is for counseling purpose. Even it might require for parental from the parental point also. That is even they will require a parental counseling. Child will require a parental counseling. So a definite interdisciplinary approach has to be taken in the management of child abuse. So we should definitely know about the legal aspects also. There have been so many protection acts, that is Child Protection Acts 1977, then Goa Children Act in 2003, the Protection of the Children from Sexual Offences Act in 2012. There are many other, that is Indian Penal Code Act has even came up with conditions where attempt for child abuse has been done. So everything, even if we don't report a case also, that is we are guilty. So in such conditions, when we report a child abuse case, we should definitely have a proper evidence. That is why I told history taking with proper evidence, written, legibly written matter should be there to provide for the legal reports. And in case if you require any investigation regarding radiographic investigations, it has to be recorded for the evidence. Then these recordings has to be done in front of the family members or a guardian. So and it has to be diplomatically or dealt, that is without provoking them, this has to be dealt. And once the case has been reported, what initially what they do is they will not try to take the child by the social workers. So what, because of the psychological impact, so initially the child will be kept under the other family members or within the home with the other parent. Otherwise it is like initially if the social workers take off the child to their institution, it has been found that many studies have found that there has been a very bad psychological impact on the children's well-being. So only if the child's security is hampered, in such situations, they will take these children to their specific institutions to take care of their safety and security. So definitely from our side, we should be the definite voice for them, because they won't be able to understand or be the voice for themselves to report such conditions. So if you suspect abuse, definitely you should be reporting the case to with not only by yourself, you should have a proper legal expert or medical legal expert to come up with such things. So as a dentist, we should definitely know the signs and symptoms, and that is how. So exam point of view, definitely you should be knowing the definition of child abuse, neglect, what is a battered child, then what are the predisposing factors, that is what are the signs which you see in a child, abused child and a parent. Then you should be able to explain about the signs and symptoms, physical signs and symptoms, dental consideration, intraoral examination, what are the signs you will see. Then go for the management part, which includes an interdisciplinary management and with the legal support. So that's all for today's class.